Philadelphia News, team of my heart.
You waited. You suffered through another playoff collapse. You believed. And now the Sixers hold the no 3 pick in the draft. But what if I told you that they could move up again to steal Dylan Harper or trade back and shock the league? This Sixers news changes everything. You've been through enough heartbreak to know that every decision now matters. Every trade, every pick, every name called on draft night. It's not just about the future. It's about your hope, your trust, your shot at finally seeing a parade down Broad Street. And now, just when it seemed like this team was standing still, the Sixers news is heating up. Daryl Morey, love him or hate him, just jumped from the 5th to the 3rd pick in the 2025 NBA draft. But he's not stopping there. You're hearing the whispers, right? That rumor echoing through Philly. Trade up for Dylan Harper? Yeah, that's real. The Sixers have reportedly engaged the Spurs for the no to pick. You know what that means. Dylan Harper, son of Ron Harper, 5-time NBA champion, could be yours. But only if the Sixers pull the trigger on the right trade. Now ask yourself, are you willing to wait again? Are you ready to watch another team grab that franchise player while you settle for whoever's left at no 3? This isn't about waiting and seeing anymore. It's about seizing the moment. This class has a sharp cliff after the top 2 names, Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper. You miss out on them, and suddenly you're looking at prospects, not stars. Do you really want to bet your future on a maybe Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, Trey Johnson? Talented guys, no question. But they're not Harper. Harper's got that edge, that bloodline, that Philly toughness. You felt it watching him at Rutgers. You imagined him in a Sixers jersey, attacking the lane next to Maxey, the crowd chanting his name, the building shaking. Morey knows the weight of this pick. He's never picked this high in Philly, not once. And yet here he is, in a position to either change everything or miss again. But here's where it gets real complicated. What if the Spurs say no? You stay put at no 3. And even though it's not the worst thing in the world, it sure feels like you're being passed by, because the Sixers are looking at a board full of questions. Edgecombe impressed in workouts, sure. Con Knupel had a virtual meeting. Bailey canceled his session. What does that tell you? It tells you this front office is scrambling to lock in the right name. It tells you they're looking at more than talent. They're hunting mentality, fit, pressure-proof guys who can step in now, not 3 years from now. And that's the pain you feel, isn't it? You've waited long enough for the development project to turn into the impact starter. You're not rebuilding. You're reloading. You need help. You need it now. And the Sixers know it. That's why the trade up isn't just talk. It's a lifeline. Because if they stay at no 3 and the top 2 guys are gone, you better hope Morey's board is locked and loaded, because you're not just watching the draft. You're watching your entire next era unfold. But let me ask you something. If it were up to you, would you trade up for Dylan Harper, even if it meant giving up a future pick? Or would you stay patient, trust your scouting, and make the no 3 pick count? Drop your answer in the comments below. You already know how unpredictable Daryl Morey can be. He's made a career out of pulling the trigger when nobody else expects it. So when you hear that the Sixers are in talks with the Spurs for that no to pick, it's not smoke. It's a spark that could light up everything. You feel that tight feeling in your chest. That's what it means to care. Because if Dylan Harper's name gets called by San Antonio instead of Philadelphia, you'll remember it. Just like you remember every almost this franchise has left you with. But let's say they don't move up. Let's say they stay right where they are, the 3rd pick. What are you really getting? You might see Ace Bailey fall into your lap. A 6 feet 8 inches wing with bounce, defensive versatility, and real flashes of scoring creativity. But he canceled his Sixers workout. That should matter to you. If a player doesn't even show up for the chance to be drafted by your team, You have to ask, is that someone you want wearing Sixers red, white, and blue? Then there's VJ Edgecombe. He did work out for the Sixers. He showed up. He competed. And that means something. He's a Baylor product. And you know what kind of players Baylor produces. Strong, smart, disciplined. But is he a top 3 talent in a draft that's being called top heavy? You have to wonder if selecting Edgecombe that high is reaching, or just settling. Now think about Knuppel. Great shooter. Smart. Mature. Had that virtual meeting with Philly. But is that enough for you? Is that the game changer this team needs next to Maxey and Embiid? Can Knuppel take the floor on opening night and swing momentum when it matters? You've seen too many solid guys come through this city. You're not here for solid anymore. You're here for special. That's what makes Dylan Harper such a pivotal name. He's the last player before the drop-off. He's the one guy after Cooper Flagg who scouts agree has it. And if you miss on him, if you let the Spurs stand pat and grab him, you're left at the edge of that cliff, looking down, hoping you didn't just step into another 5-year waiting game. You don't have time for that. Embiid's not. Getting younger. Maxey is ready to explode, and you need someone who complements that fire. You need someone with poise, presence, and the guts to take the shot with the season on the line. And if you're being honest with yourself, you know that player isn't sitting around at pick 12 or 18. He's right there, right now, waiting to see if Philly makes the call. But then there's this other layer. The Sixers could trade back. It sounds crazy, but Morey's phone is always buzzing. One mock draft says Philly could move back to no. 7 with the Pelicans, pick up Herb Jones. 8 2026 first rounder, and still draft someone like Common Maluk. Think about that. You get elite perimeter defense in Jones, clean up the salary sheet, and still come away with a lottery talent dot. Is that a rebuild? No, that's strategic repositioning. That's playing chess when the rest of the league is still on checkers. Another scenario, a trade back to no, 6 through deals with the Hornets and Wizards. That move gets you off the contracts of Andre Drummond and Eric Gordon. You gain to more picks. No, 18 and no 33. Suddenly you have flexibility, depth, and a team built to last beyond just this season. And if Knuppel is still there at 6, maybe that becomes a win-win. But is that enough for you? Are you willing to trade away the no 3 pick? Possibly miss out on Dylan Harper? For a package deal that might make your roster deeper, but not better at the top? Or do you say screw it, go all in, make the deal, and let the draft room erupt when Harper puts on that Sixers cap? Be real with yourself. What would you do? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear from you. You feel that pressure, right? Because it's not just about potential anymore. It's about urgency. You're not sitting around waiting for someone to develop in the G League. You want someone who's NBA ready. Someone who shows up in Philly, walks into Wells Fargo Center, and owns the moment. That's why this decision hits different. It's not just a draft pick. It's the crossroads of your franchise. Let's be honest. You've seen this front office gamble before. Sometimes it pays off. Like when Morey snagged DeAnthony Melton on draft night in 2022. Sometimes it backfires. Like when names that were supposed to elevate the team ended up riding the bench. You know the stakes. So when you hear trade, you know exactly what that means. Risk, reward, regret. And you felt all 3. So what's it going to be this time? Is this the year the Sixers finally get aggressive and make the kind of move that shakes the entire league? Or do they once again take the safe route, make the logical pick, and hope it works out? Because the problem with logical is that it rarely wins titles. Now think about this. What happens if the Sixers don't trade up, don't trade back, and just stay still? You're looking at a roster that's got Embiid, Maxey, Paul, George, maybe Kelly Oubre if he sticks around. You add a young piece like Edgecombe or Knuppel to that group. Sure, it's nice. But is it enough to beat Boston, Milwaukee, even Indiana? No way. That's why the trade scenarios matter so much. You trade back and bring in Herb Jones. Now you've got a defensive monster on the wing. You move some salaries and gain to more picks. Now you've got assets to use at the deadline. Suddenly, your flexibility isn't just theoretical, it's real. But trade up for Dylan Harper. That's your swing. That's your bet. That's your gamble on greatness. You've watched this team pass on too many chances before. You've seen picks wasted, timelines fumbled, chemistry destroyed. You're not here for another rebuild. You're here for rings. You're here for that one player who changes everything. And maybe, just maybe, Dylan Harper is that guy. And don't think for a second that Morey hasn't felt that pressure, too. He knows this city doesn't forgive soft rebuilds. He knows you want fire. You want guts. You want to look at that draft board on June 26th and say, yes, that's the one. That's our guy. So now you're staring down 3 roads. Option 1, stay at no 3. Take whoever's left after Flag and Harper. Hope for the best. Option 2, trade back. Pick up depth, defense, assets. Build smart. Option 3, go get Harper. Trade with San Antonio. Do whatever it takes. Which one do you want? Leave your answer in the comments. And if you care about every move this team makes, if you live for Sixers news, trade rumors, draft buzz, and watching this front office take chances that either change everything or burn it all down, then do me one favor. Subscribe to the channel. Click the bell so you don't miss a second of what's coming next. Because the moment this pick is made, the entire future of your team changes, and I promise, you're going to want to be here for every second of it. Don't just watch the news. Own it. So tell me, if you were Daryl Morey, would you trade up for Dylan Harper? Would you go all in? Or would you trade back and build a deeper roster for the long haul? Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit that subscribe button for more Sixers news and trade breakdowns.